हेलो हाय नमस्ते सत श्री अकाल आदाब। मैं हूँ शिवांगी और पेपरविफ टीवी पर कैंडिड टॉक के इस एपिसोड में आप सभी का तहे दिल से स्वागत करती हूँ। वेल, नमिता हैज जॉइंड अस। नमिता 57, हेलो एंड वेलकम। If you can confirm, Namita, can you hear me clearly? And I will request everybody else who's joining us. Divya is here. Divya, my darling, happy belated birthday. I'm so sorry. I was so unwell and so engrossed into my things that I forgot. I'm so sorry. Happy birthday and I wish you the whole world. And आज जिनके साथ हम ये कैंडिड टॉक करने वाले हैं वो यहाँ आ चुकी हैं. So without further ado, well, आज हम जिनके साथ कैंडिड टॉक करने जा रहे हैं वो है ऑथर प्रियंका माथुर. And let me tell you, her story is very, very, very interesting. Hi, Priyanka ji.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, good.
It's good to see you finally.
I know. We've spoken on the phone earlier, but it's good to see you finally.
Yes, and to like the conversation we had, it was so amazing. It was so amazing. And I can't wait to let everybody else know about you, make them a part of that conversation that we had.
Sure, definitely.
So let us begin by welcoming a few of the people who have joined us. Shiab, Singh, Shivani, Anand, Jain, Kant, Tushna, and if I'm taking your names wrong, please forgive me, and welcome everybody. Let us get this candid talk rolling, shall we? So Priyanka, first of all, I want to know about your very traditional childhood.
Okay. So I am what they call a third culture kid. So I was born in Delhi. I was raised in Nigeria. And one of the schools I attended was an American school. So I am a mix of many different things.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. But how did this Nigeria happen?
So actually, it started with my parents. My father had got a job in Nigeria. And my parents decided to sort of move over there and see how life goes. And well, that's how the story began. So they had initially planned to go only for a short time, but it turned out to be about 14 years. So
you were in Nigeria for 14 years?
Yes, that's right.
Wow. So when you went from India to Nigeria, how old were you?
I was a year old. So I learned to walk and talk.
You came back? Wow. You came back a teenager?
Yes, that's right.
So tell me, first of all, I want to know, was it a cultural shock for you? Was it a pleasant experience? And how has it shaped you?
It was a pleasant experience because you see, the thing is, my parents had always said that eventually you have to come back to India. So, you cannot forget your roots no matter where you are in the world. So I moved back here. I was expecting a lot of things which I had been told. And I did sort of, a lot of the things that I experienced did meet those expectations. But, when you're in school and you're younger, it's much easier to adjust. So I was able to make friends very fast. Yeah, I mean, it became a lot easier.
Okay. And did it, was there ever an incident when someone in the school treated treated you like an outsider because you had come from Nigeria? Maybe you spoke in a different dialect than they did. Did those things happen? You do?
I still get that. I mean, I think the moment I open my mouth, I get very different reactions. So I do get that. But I also say, yes, I have studied in India. So you cannot completely, tell me I'm an outsider. I'm very much Indian, like everyone else.
Wow. So education-wise, how that experience and this experience, Indian experience, was different? Tell me something about that as well.
Okay, so it was very different. The school I attended, it was an American school, and
Okay.
there the emphasis was all on what do you think, and
Oh,
the more your perspectives come out, the better it is. There was no such thing as okay, you're not getting enough marks, so you need to go get special help. They would treat those things in a very different manner, and it
okay.
was a very holistic education system.
Wow.
So there was a lot of emphasis on art, on extracurriculars, on sports. So I
Okay.
was encouraged a lot to sort of pursue some kind of art form. So I used to do a lot of drawing when I was a kid, and
Wow.
I also used to like playing a lot of music and being a part of those kind of
Wow.
things. So my teachers, they were really nice people. They used to encourage
Uh-huh.
me to do that because they said you cannot just be somebody based on only academics. Academics does
Right.
not mean opening a textbook. It means a lot more than that.
Absolutely. Yes,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
as we all know today. So I think that helped me a lot. And when I moved here to India, here, of course, the scene was a lot different. But I think
Right.
I got um, a lot of emphasis
Right.
from my teachers here in India because
Okay.
I came from a different background. So they
Right.
liked that. They appreciated that, and they
Wow.
used to select me for things which I never thought I had in me. So I used to get selected for inter-school debates.
Oh,
And I was like, no,
wow.
I can't speak. So like, no, you come. You'll be fine. You just, this is what you have to say, you come. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, all right.
but
Whatever
that's
works.
great. That's really good because I think in India, most of the teachers, most of the schools are more academics driven. Like,
Yes.
whatever you do or don't do,
Yeah.
marks affect नहीं होने चाहिए, right?
Yes, bilkul. We are still very much marks oriented.
Oh, someone is saying, Tushna, you then became Bandra di Kudi. Okay, it must be your friend.
Yes, she is my friend.
Okay, so now you are in Mumbai, and I mean that must have been also a cultural change, won't it be? Right?
It was. So, okay, the thing is, I have moved around from place to place 7 times. So
Seven.
I've lived in seven different, yeah. So I've lived in 7 different cities across 4 different countries. So
Oh,
every
wow.
place has, comes with its ups and downs. When
Right.
I moved from Delhi to Bombay, that was a change as well because
Absolutely.
North Indian and Western Indian culture are very different.
Very
Um,
different. Very
but at the
different.
same time, every city comes with its good and its bad. So here in
Right.
Bombay,
Absolutely.
the traffic is really bad, I think, as everybody knows. But I got my first job here as well.
All right.
So I began my career here. So, I mean,
Okay.
there are things I can be thankful about.
Oh wow. Divya is saying, Divya is one of our co-anchors. She's saying, oh wow, आमची मुंबई दी कुड़ी. अरे अभी यहाँ पर हम क्षेत्रवाद नहीं फैलाएंगे. No Mumbai दी कुड़ी, no Delhi दी लड़की. Okay, we are all Indians. Let's keep it that
Yeah,
way. Okay.
bilkul.
Okay. Now I want to know about. So you started writing very young, at a very young age.
Yes.
I want to know
Yes, that's right.
what started, like what pushed you to start writing.
So actually, it was a a school assignment.
Okay.
I was in the first grade, and my teacher came up to me and one or two other children and
Okay.
said that I would like you to write something for the upcoming parent-teacher meeting. So I said,
Right.
okay. And she said, it's a bit of a task. So I said, so I was a little, like, what is she going to ask me to do? And
Mm-hmm.
at that stage, when you're about 5 or 6, you've just learned how to
Right.
write. So I
Right.
was like, hey, okay, I'll do this because you're telling me to, but I don't know whether I'm going to meet your expectations
Okay.
or not. So, but she showed us a picture, and based on that picture, she said, I want you to write a story, write something about it, what has
Mhm.
happened, as per what,
Okay.
either that or you write the ending. So,
Okay.
you just have to write about a para or so. And then if I like it, it will go on to the notice board. So
Okay.
I said, okay. So I wrote that. and apparently she really liked it. So that went up on the notice board and it was displayed to my parents. And that's when I realized everyone told me that maybe you should try doing this a little more often.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow. So,
that's
I
how
mean,
it began.
this was your beginning step, but you were a storyteller since the very beginning.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's talk a little bit about family. So, who all are there? How is your bonding? How was your childhood? Like, were there nasty fights with siblings? Were you scolded as a child?
Well, all of the above.
Oh,
You know, I'm the youngest in my family. So
really?
we are there are my parents, I have an elder brother, and there's me. And
Okay.
we all stay together. My elder brother has his own family and we all live together. We're a joint family.
Oh, wow.
So yes, there are obviously, you know, personality clashes at times, but at the same time there is a lot of bonding. So if I'm not going out, I'm always doing something with the family. So it's
Oh,
always like,
did you and your elder brother fight when you were kids?
you know, when you have an elder
Always
brother, I think
fighting.
anyone who has an elder brother will know that. So
Oh my goodness. Okay, so tell me, so now let's move toward towards your college life. So, how
okay.
was college? Where did you go? What did you study?
So after school in Delhi, I moved to Bombay for college. And college was all right. I mean, I think, you know, everyone would agree that your school friends and school experiences are always, you know, right up
The
there.
best.
College
Right,
experiences
absolutely.
are fun, but that kind of bonding doesn't happen with college people as it does with school people. Though,
Absolutely,
of course, I do
absolutely.
have a very close friend who's watching this, so I'm not going to say anything more than that.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
But
goodness.
but otherwise, it was nice. I mean, I came here, I studied English literature in college, and I
Okay.
had minored in psychology. And that was good. There was a lot of, I mean, college was a lot of hard work. If you come from an arts background, people tend to think that arts में कुछ पढ़ाई नहीं होती है.
True,
But in
true,
reality, you spend a lot of time reading and doing a lot of reference
absolutely.
reading.
True, true.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
But
It is.
otherwise, exactly. Otherwise, it was all right. I mean, in general, you know, 3 years, I managed to finish that stint
Survive somehow.
successfully. Yes,
Now,
exactly.
Tushna ma'am is like, ha ha ha, I know about her. Tushna ma'am, maybe I should get you here and let you reveal all her secrets. Well, let me just take a minute, ma'am, and welcome everyone else who has just joined us. Roma Mishra
So,
ma'am, Ankita Srivas, Shweta Didi has joined. Hello, Gigi. And Katie Jen. And Shweta is saying, you doesn't look totally okay, yaar. Yeah, I'm still not up to my full strength, but I'm sure after this session I will be.
okay. You're unwell.
All right. So, yeah, I was actually extremely unwell for a long time. I
Oh,
had some
okay, okay.
bronchitis issues, so I was not able to speak and throat infection and stuff like that. So I'm not completely up to my
Uh,
strength, but I'll get there.
okay,
All
that's
right. So,
good.
college happened, and you had a lot of fun with Tushna ma'am, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened after college. Did you go
So,
join a job or did you go for a post graduation first? What was it?
I did go for a postgrad course.
Okay.
I decided to pursue a diploma in commercial art. And I got the opportunity to study in London at the Chelsea College of Art and Design.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was
That's
an
I mean, amazing. Yes. Wow.
it
And then?
was a really good experience because the college itself is a renowned for arts. And
Right.
you know, staying in the UK, staying in London, it was an amazing experience. I got to see, I got the best of every world. So there was my college life, which was
Okay.
different. When I was staying in a hostel, and that too, you know, I stayed at an Indian hostel in the UK. So there were a lot of friends who I'm still very much in touch with, and we do meet whenever we get a chance.
Okay.
So that was really nice. But I think in general, the whole experience has been good because it's been not just academic, there's been a lot of learning apart from college and just living on your own. So that was good. I really like that.
Okay. So after London, did you come back to India directly, or did you work there? You gained some experience, some exposure, and then came back?
No, I came back to India. So I came back about after the completing the course, and
Okay.
I took up a job a few months later. So that my first job after that was in Bombay itself, and it was with the Times of India. So I have worked in the print media for about nearly 8 years. 5 years was in Times of India. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's how it all
Print,
began.
I guess like print media is probably one of the most like spread out type of media
Yes,
right now. Like
yes,
wherever the radio doesn't reach, the internet doesn't reach, the the magazines and the newspapers, they reach there.
yes,
And
yes,
working with
absolutely.
Times of, how was that experience working with Times of India?
That was a tremendous learning experience.
Oh wow.
So I worked as a editor or sub-editor, what they call a sub-editor. My
Okay.
job was basically to proofread articles and help design them on the newspaper page. That
Right.
was what my job was in essence. And whenever I got the time, then I would write articles on the side. So that was it was good fun. At
Mm-hmm.
the same time, it was also, like I said, a learning experience because that's when you learn time management. So if
Right.
you've ever worked in a daily newspaper, there is no such thing as carrying forward your work. You have to finish it in that day itself. So
Right.
there were
Right.
innumerable late nights,
Oh
a
my
lot of
goodness.
late nights, a lot of sudden changes that would happen, which was
Right.
very often very frustrating. But it also taught you how to get the job done very quickly and
Right.
in with limited resources at times. So it was a very good learning experience in general.
Wow. So Times of India. You did Times of India. Okay. Now, everybody who has just joined us, first of all, welcome, welcome, welcome. I have not been here for a long time. I know I've missed you guys. I hope you guys have missed me. We are here with author Priyanka Mathur, and we are having an extremely interesting conversation. I am slowly making her reveal all the layers of her life because I want everyone here to see and to hear what it is that makes an author. And I mean, her life journey is amazing. And if you haven't invited your friends here right now, trust me, they are missing out. You need to call them here right now. Now, moving on. So, Times of India, after 5 years with print media, what happened? What made you switch? Where did you go? Tell me about that.
Okay, so after that, I was looking for something a little more creative
Uh-huh.
because when you work in a newspaper, there is not much scope for creativity unless you're working for, supposing, one of the magazines. That is
Right.
a different thing. But for a daily paper, it's all about just putting the news out there in a
Right.
proper and understandable manner.
Right.
So that was what I used to do. So for me, I was looking for something a little more challenging, a little more creative. So eventually, I did get a job with another publishing house that used to publish a lot of coffee table books and magazines.
Oh, wow.
And I worked there for about 1.5 years. And that was another very good experience because I got a lot more opportunity to sit with the designers and do the layouts with them.
Right.
Tell them that, look, I want you to change the tone of this picture, or I want you to remove this picture, put this picture up. I want this effect to be there on the page, that kind of stuff. What actually I had studied is what I was actually doing.
Okay.
So that plus writing. So, and there was of course a lot of coordination required, but it was a very good experience, and I really enjoyed that.
So tell me one thing. So generally, people when they are working in print media or hardcore media, what we call it, they don't usually switch that often, right? What
Yeah.
is it that pushed you towards switching a job, taking up a new role?
I think I do tend to get a bit of an itch after some time. I like to try something new.
Oh,
I feel that okay, you've tried something for some time, you've become good at it, or you're used to doing that.
mm.
Now what? With me, it's always about now
Now
what. So
what?
yeah. So,
Interesting.
like what I actually, this is something that I was always taught
Uh-huh.
that you should always keep challenging yourself and try something new. And the sort of curriculums that I've studied under used to teach me the same thing that, think out of the box always.
Wow.
So I did eventually I did sort of think that I have done my time with this kind of work, and I'm
Right.
looking forward to trying something a little different, something a
Right.
little out of my league, because I feel I'm ready for that.
Right.
So I started, by then, by God's grace, I got another job offer. And then
Right.
I moved into more of a corporate and sort of PR kind of work for a manufacturing company. So
Wow.
I
Like,
switched totally
like from
from
media
journalism.
to, I mean, this is like, imagine like how long a switch it is. And Ritika is saying, haha, love the H bit. Absolutely. I absolutely love it. And I want to tell everyone one thing. The reason why I'm asking this question is because when I talked to Priyanka ma'am for the first time, this is what intrigued me the most, that she wasn't afraid to follow her passion, her desire to find out something new. She was asking the best question one can ask oneself, and that is now what? Right? I think we all need to ask that question to ourselves more
Yeah.
often. So
Yeah.
now, media khelte khelte manufacturing, like how did that
Yes.
happen?
So I actually had been looking for a change, and since I was still undecided about what I wanted to do,
Mhm.
I decided to take a sabbatical. And
Okay.
I went up to my boss and I told him, look, I'm looking to quit now. So he said, no, no, no. He said, you can't quit so soon. You have to give me time. So
Okay.
I said, look, I'm ready for a change. This has been great and everything, but I'd like to say goodbye now. But he said no. And he said, look, okay, fine. You just wait, hang in there. I will do something for you. So
Okay.
it was all thanks to him. I got a transfer. So where I was working, there was a media company on one side, and
Mhm.
under the same umbrella, there was this manufacturing
Oh,
company. So
wow.
I switched internally.
Okay.
Of course, it was literally like switching a job. Only thing is that
Absolutely.
you come from, yeah, so you shift from media and more into manufacturing.
Right.
But in essence, the job was about writing, it was about communication, and it
Yeah.
was also about coordination and doing a lot of marketing. And the marketing thing is what actually started interesting me in
Okay.
grabbing my interest. So
Okay.
I like that. And I worked with that company for almost a year. But
Okay.
by then I thought that maybe I need to go back to school and sort of, work on my skills.
Okay.
So to work on your skill, because, when you change your jobs, you realize that, yeah, you're good at some things, but there are a lot of new things that come your way. And sometimes you feel that maybe I need to, take a step back, go back,
Right.
study a bit, and then come back with those skills.
Wow.
And it'll just help me go better.
That is
So,
a bold step. Like for like I mean 10 years of full-fledged, fruitful career where you were doing pretty much things that you liked and
yeah.
still taking a step back, recognizing that you wanted to take a step back and go back to the drawing board and maybe work on your skills a little. That's a bold step. Like in our
Yeah.
country, very few people probably do that because
Yeah.
everyone once they get into the job, like my mom always told me, "बेटा अभी पढ़ाई कर लो, एक बारी job लग गई ना फिर कुछ नहीं होती पढ़ाई वढ़ाई." Like how many? Please raise your hand, everybody, and tell me how many parents told you that. Like आपके parents ने आपको ऐसा बोला क्या? And what did your parents say about it? Like हमें 10 साल के बाद अभी तुमको पढ़ना है?
Oh no, my parents are the total opposite.
Oh,
So my parents always used to say, look, if you want to take a break, maybe you can go back to school. So, maybe it
wow.
would be a good idea for you to go back to school. Think about what you want to study, but whatever you choose should be value addition to your further career step.
Wow.
So if you want to take a break, that's great. Padhai kar lo. So I was a little
You're so
averse to
good
it. To be honest, I was a little averse because I said, it's been so long since I've opened a textbook. Ab jaake main kaise karungi? But they used to push me, and I think everything slowly started pointing towards the thing that I should actually go back to school and
Oh,
start studying.
oh,
Because when I would sit and analyze what I'm doing and where I feel I'm somewhat lacking,
right.
everything would just say, look, you need to go back to school. Maybe
Okay.
you should do a short course. Maybe you can do, a 1.5 year course. It doesn't matter. But
Okay.
I think it's a good idea for you to go back to
So
school.
life was giving you signs.
Yes, it was.
Wow. Okay. So what did you study this time?
So I eventually decided to take a study for an MBA and in marketing.
Oh, wow.
So while I had, I took a break from my work, and
Uh-huh.
about 1 or 2 years later is when I finally came zoned in on what I wanted to do, and that was an MBA in marketing.
Wow.
And initially, when I told my parents, my father was a little hesitant because he says, marketing, you're only seeing one aspect of it. There are a
Right.
lot of other things like the sales and, the going out and traveling,
Right.
which can get very tiring. So you need to think if that is something you want to do. And I told him, I
Your
said, you have
father
done it.
is a very pragmatic man. He's an extremely
Yes,
pragmatic man.
he is. In fact, it was hilarious when he said you should think about something else, maybe an MBA in HR. And I was not in favor of HR because I had said, I don't know if it's for me. There are some things which you just
Right.
instinctively know, this is not me. So
Right.
I said,
Absolutely.
and my mother was very keen that for years she used to tell me, do an MBA, do an MBA. You never go wrong with it. So,
Okay.
so when I finally told them, they're like, okay, finally she's decided an MBA. And I said, marketing, then they were like, think about it. But then I said, okay. So the course I chose
Uh-huh.
was a general MBA in the first year, but then of course in the second year you start majoring in the subject of your choice,
Right.
and
Right.
that turned out to be marketing.
Okay.
And that was also a fun experience because I moved to Hyderabad for that.
Uh-huh.
So I was in a whole new city, and I was amongst people who were nothing like me, and
Okay.
that in itself was, another huge learning experience. But it was, I think, worth it. I have no regrets.
Oh, wow. So Tushna ma'am is saying, what about your interesting MBA life? Now I am interested in this interesting MBA life. What about it?
Ah, well, so, well, I don't know what she's implying, but
Looks like she's implying something, but
I have no idea. No, but it was fun to be living back on campus again, and living in a hostel. Now, it's a very different experience when you have worked and you go back to school, because for
absolutely.
the first time you're in control. No one is telling you ki you need to secure a certain percentage. No one even
Right.
cares how much where you're staying. So my
Right.
family had never seen where I lived.
Uh-huh.
So they have only, I think my mother had visited the campus once with me,
Okay.
and where I eventually was staying and who my neighbors were, no one knew. So
Oh,
it was pretty
wow.
much me on my own.
Oh wow. But
But
then that's so freeing, isn't it?
it's very freeing because there was no pressure on me, and the only one who would put the pressure was myself. So
Was
in the
you.
first semester, I managed to get like a decent grade.
Okay.
But then, then it slowly starts sinking in that, look, if I don't do well in this course, this is
Uh-huh.
actually a second chance and a chance to do something better and different in,
Okay.
in the years to come. So technically,
Right.
तू सोच ले, अगर तुझे टाइम पास करना है तो कर ले, इट्स ओके। अगर तुझे कुछ बनना है, कुछ अच्छी नौकरी लेनी है, तो थोड़ी मेहनत करनी
Right.
पड़ेगी।
Oh, but like this is amazing now. Like most of the time, parents are the ones who are poking at us. This was you
Yes,
poking at yourself.
yes. So I would send, I'd WhatsApp my parents, okay, this is my mark sheet. They're like, oh, okay. I'm like, acha, okay. आना भी अच्छी है।
Oh, to reach the place in your life where your parents look at your mark sheet, and they're not like, "Ho" or "Well done." They're like,
हाँ,
"Huh, so okay."
yeah. They're like, good for you. You did well, good for you. I'm like, okay, all right.
Okay,
This is what is happening. Oh, very good. All right. Now next. Okay, all right.
that's amazing. But I think like everyone, probably from the way you are telling me this, it feels like every one of us, maybe at a certain point in our career, should take a break and go back to
Yes.
studying, right?
Yes. It is something I firmly believe now. Because, I mean, you never know what comes your way. You might
Absolutely.
change from a, technical line into a marketing line. You never know. Life is very unpredictable. So it
True.
always makes sense to go back, and there's nothing wrong with it.
And I think you know what intrigues me about you the most, that you're not afraid of changes. Most of us are, because when you are in that rhythm, when you get a certain amount of salary, you have a certain kind of lifestyle, you're doing a
Right.
certain work, you're being appreciated, you are proud
Yeah.
of yourself, you're enjoying, everything is good. Like why? Or most of us would say no, we don't want to shake it, we don't
Yeah.
want to change it, we just want it to be the way it is, right?
Yes.
But you are
Yes.
like, no, no, no. Okay, been there, done that. What now? But
Yes.
amazing. Wow.
I
Okay,
think
so
that
let's
comes.
get back to, yes, please,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it. I think it comes back to the fact that, where there are a lot of people like me who have moved around a lot, moved from place to place.
Right,
So that kind of makes you think that, nothing is really permanent. And
right,
you really need to sort of adjust to what situation is you are in at that moment.
right,
Or, as they say, stay in the present. And if the
right.
present demands that you, I don't know, learn a whole new skill, if that's the need of the hour, do it.
You do it, right? Absolutely. And I think this kind of insight in life comes when you have seen different people, like been to different places, explored yourself and the world to a certain extent. I think that's when you
Yes.
start thinking that, okay, listen, no, I'm not going to come out of it alive any whichever way. So I
Yes.
might do what I want to do right now. I mean, this is really
Exactly.
cool. Really cool. Okay, Shreya said, Henna, life will be refreshed. Yes, Shreya, I agree. Life will be refreshed if we all took that छोटा सा break and went back to our college and maybe did some छोटा सा course. Yeah, it'll be so much fun. Tushna ma'am is saying,
Yeah.
right, be afraid to take risk of the unknown. Yes, we all are. And I
Yeah.
think, I mean, what comes out of this conversation is that it's okay to take risk. We're not going to lose
Yes.
our lives to it. Like, I mean,
No.
come on. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very
Cool.
true.
So let's get to the next पड़ाव of life. Okay.
Okay.
So MBA पूरा किया या बीच में छोड़ दिया?
Pura kiya. If I don't like to have things hanging over my head,
Oh,
so it's a fault of mine. अभी शुरू कर लिया, फिर बीच में छोड़ दिया. Then after some years, then you think about, नहीं, I haven't completed it. I have to do
right,
this.
right.
नहीं, वो
तो
मेरे से नहीं होता है.
पूरा finish कर दिया. And then what?
So after I finished my MBA, I had a job offer. This was with a with a solar panel manufacturing company. And
Wow.
this is when by now I had understood that if I wanted to work in a, for another company, I would like to work in a B2B sector,
Okay.
because B2C everybody does, but in B2B there is a lot of learning that is involved about the products that are being sold, about the market. It's a whole new experience. So I
Right.
realized that that is something which seemed to interest me. So I worked for this company, but I did not continue for long over there, because the thing is that, my office was at one end of the city. It used to take me almost 2 hours to reach. So I
Oh,
said, like, it's getting very taxing.
true, true.
So I said, no, there's no time to even sit back and, on a weekend and read up about what the kind of work you're doing.
Right.
So if I don't have that and I'm always, on call, then,
Yeah.
उसमें मजा नहीं आता है.
True. नहीं होता है. After a certain age, after a certain point in your career, you
Yeah.
need that work-life balance. Even if it's
Yes.
like, right? Even if it does not exist in a perfect world, but we strive for it in whatever form we can.
Yes, absolutely.
So what?
Exactly. And I realized that the work-life balance was something that I really needed, because after working, late nights earlier, and, sometimes once on a few occasions, I've worked on Sundays as well. So I was like, look, I put a lot of effort, but where's the effort
Right.
for myself? So I
True.
need that.
True. A good question again. Where is the effort for myself? People, please ask yourselves that question. Where is the effort for myself? Because if you're not putting an effort into you for yourself, nothing else is worth it.
Absolutely.
So, this job you quit. You said tata
Yeah.
bye bye.
Yes.
Then what came into your life or what you went to?
So actually, when I quit, I remember my ex-colleagues asking me, like, do you have another offer? I said, no, I have not had time to do anything, not even to, update my CV. I've not had time. So they're like, now what are you going to do? I said, I'll figure it out. I mean, I've decided once, ab dekhenge. Of course, you say it to outsiders, inside your heart is still
Oh,
thumping a
I
bit.
know
And now what am I
it's
going to do?
hard. True, true. But I love that spirit.
But I when I quit, so I came home and I told my parents that I've decided to do quit that job, and I told my father, I said, I'd like to join your business. We have a family business, and I said, I'd like to join that. And he had been telling me for many years that, why don't you think about joining? But at that
Okay.
time, I had not felt that I was ready for, because again, it's a manufacturing
Right.
business. There is a lot of
Absolutely.
learning and a lot of technical knowledge that's involved.
Right.
So I didn't know if I fit in at that time. But this
Right.
time, when I told him that, I was like, okay. And he says, but you might have to, learn these things. I'll do it. It's okay. I'll do it. So, so I
Wow.
said, I'm not looking at any other job. I've not updated my CV. I'm not on any of these job sites. So you
Okay.
can check. So he said, okay, fine. So you come from Monday onwards. So I said, okay. And that's how it all began.
Oh, wow. So you joined the family business.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where you have been ever since, right?
Yes. That's right.
Okay. So how many years has it been?
It has been now almost 4.5 to, yeah, about 4.5 years.
Okay. And I guess there is something that has held you back, isn't it? Right? In it, like something that has grabbed you and still is keeping you there? Or are you still looking for something new?
No, for me, this is it.
This is it.
I'm not going anywhere else now.
You're not going anywhere.
No.
All right, cool. Now let's talk about, so amongst all this, when did this thought come in that maybe I should write a book? Or did someone else tell you, like, go ahead, write a book, you're good?
I used to get told that a lot, actually. Like I said, I've had some very amazing teachers. from my school days in Nigeria as well as in India.
Right.
And whenever I would write anything, you know, in your creative writing classes, whatever I would write, they always liked it. And so they would, you know, their expectation out of me had suddenly gone that high. And I used to find it a little intimidating initially, but then they're like, look, we know you can do it. You'll be fine. Don't worry. So I would write stories, short stories in school, and then, of course, in college. I wrote my first book when I was, I think, 13 or 14. But that book was a project that I started with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And I got this idea from some book I had read, and I thought that I will write this book, and along with my friend, and eventually, if it's really good, then we'll get it published. But I think she lost at 13, and I think she lost steam because I would spend most of the time writing, and then I said, okay, here, I've given it to you, now you add your inputs to it. I said, no, I think you go ahead and do it.
You
have
written enough for both of us.
Yeah, you've done it. Don't involve me now.
13, having the idea that, okay, let us just try this, and if it works, I'm going to go ahead and get it published. We are going to go ahead and get it published. That's really awesome. At 13, I guess very few kids. You know, we have had at paperwiff TV, we have had, you know, one young kid, I guess I guess she was maybe around 13, 14, and she has the published book. And to me, that is mind blowing. That at 13, at 13, I was like gilli danda, kho kho, kabaddi. That's what I was. Like, you always had this in you that I want to be published. Did you always have that?
Well, I don't know if you see, writing was something that, well, to an extent, I still think is something that is my second hobby. My first hobby has always been drawing. And I used to draw a lot as a child, and as an, you know, even now I do that. But a lot of people I think I had not noticed it in myself. It was, you know, a lot of my peer group and my teachers, my relatives and stuff who would notice that I have a knack for writing. And they would keep encouraging me. So when my teachers came to know that I was writing a book, they said, will you let us read it when you're finished? I said, yes, of course. I said, but at the same time, I was a little apprehensive because, you know, you write full josh mein. But then, how is the other person going to like it? That's a very scary thought. So,
when you write one Sunnu sa Instagram caption, I'm like, पता नहीं लोग क्या सोचेंगे, क्या लिखा है, लोग बोलेंगे ऐसे ज़्यादा philosophy झाड़ रही है करके. And like, to put out a book is, oh my God, scary at another level. So you gave the book to your teacher?
No. So what happened is, by then I moved back to India, and I continued writing it here. And of course, my teachers here, they also came to know that I was writing this book, because in free periods, sometimes if we're not you know, playing outside or doing something else, I would bring that to school and I'd be writing. They're like, what are you writing? I said, well, I started this. I thought high time I finished this. So like, yes, you must. And then they tell other kids, like, look at what she's doing. I'm like, okay. I said, you'll have a different opinion of me when you read it. But, okay, thank you.
You always, as in, I guess it's no matter what all we have achieved, we're always second guessing ourselves, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And the worst critique of our work is us.
Yes, because I still have that book, and when I open it and I read it, I cringe. I'm like, oh wow, what was I thinking?
I wish one day you will publish it and we will all get to read it. I'm like, come on, it'll be amazing.
that would require a lot of re-editing. That I can say.
Maybe one day.
Maybe,
So Tushna has
perhaps.
asked me something, and she has reminded me of this conversation. Tushna was saying,
Okay.
I thought you became serious about writing when you started doing storytelling to your nieces. So you told
Yes.
me about telling stories to your
Yes.
nieces and
That's
how
right.
it helped you or drove you further into that direction. Tell me more about that.
So when my nieces came on the scene,
Uh-huh.
I used to spend a lot of time with them, and sometimes if they're not eating their food or if they're in a bad mood, I would just somehow distract them, with a once upon a time in a land far away, and I would tell them these stories. And within 2 seconds, they would be staring at me with their mouth open, and not cranky, not feeling weird or in a bad mood. They just, okay, so then what? Then what happened? Then what happened? So I'm like, okay. All right. But I think my parents used to observe me, my family used to observe me with them. And
Right.
they used to say that you're very good with children and you're very
Uh-huh.
good at telling stories to children. So why don't
Uh-huh.
you take this up? Maybe you can try something on the weekends, have storytelling sessions. A lot of people do that. You can do that as a hobby. But for some odd reason, that was something which had not really appealed to me. I said, yeah, I enjoyed, teaching children, or telling them stories and stuff. It's like you tell them a lesson, and you're telling them in a very fun and creative way. Like, for instance, there'll be a story about a caveman and a caveman who discovered how to use the spoon. And
Okay.
instead of eating, with your hands and making a mess, you
Uh-huh.
pick up the spoon. And it's like a funny story, which I think till today my nieces keep telling me, tell us that story. So, so it's.
Wow.
But my father was the one who pushed me to start writing for children.
Oh.
When I first sat down to write the first story,
Uh-huh.
I did not like it because it's even as you write it. There's several things you have to keep in mind. First thing is the age.
Absolutely.
As an
Yes.
adult, you use words that are very above their vocabulary level. And you have
Absolutely.
to really rewire your thinking and come down to that level
True.
and and ensure that you're looking at things from their perspective, which
Okay.
is not easy. And so I wrote 2 drafts and then I finally discarded that. So for some months I would not write anything. And my parents would say, like, you should do this, do it, we'll help you, whatever you want to get it published, how to get it published, don't worry about that, just put it out there.
Oh,
So I'm like,
wow.
okay. And so many a times I would procrastinate. I said, "Nahi, हाँ, मैं कर लूंगी. Then they finally, when I got the idea, finally,
Uh-huh.
I went up to my father and I said, look, I finally got an idea and I'm going to do this and this is what it's going to be called. And my father says, I'll believe it when it happens. I think by then they were like, हाँ, हमने बहुत कह दिया है
Love
इसको.
your
You need
dad.
to
I
leave.
absolutely love your dad.
We'll believe it when we see it. So,
And then, how many months?
so this began actually during pandemic. So
Okay.
it took me, I think, about 6 months to finally come up with an idea and to come up with the character and who would be involved and where it would be set and what would be the story. So if I wanted to get it published, I
Uh-huh.
mean, coming from the other side of the fence in publishing, I was like,
Right.
no, it has to appeal to me
True.
as a writer and as a reader. So I'm
Right.
trying to combine everything, every aspect of publishing into one person.
Wow.
And based on that, that's how I started writing. And
So, like,
yeah,
because you had this vision of what writing is supposed to be, because you
yeah,
had been on the other side of the desk, and
yes.
coming to that side, that experience, how did it help you? I want to know, how did it help you?
It helped me a lot because firstly, when you write, the first thing that I think anyone is taught when they do any creative writing is the first line or the first para has to hit you. It
Right.
cannot be something that is
Absolutely.
you very boring, very mundane. No, it has to be striking.
True. True.
So
True.
when I set out writing the story,
Uh-huh.
I wrote the first draft showed it to my family. They said this is not bad, but maybe you can don't sit over it, write it, revise it if you can.
Okay.
So
Okay.
when I took a few days, and this is a habit I've developed now, that whenever I write something and I've completed something,
Okay.
I take a few days break and then I come back to it.
Come
And
back to.
then it helps me understand that it's like a fresh reading.
Ah,
Then you understand कि इसमें कसर है, यहाँ
true.
कसर है, this is not good. I
True.
want to change the language here. I want to make this a
Right.
little more hard-hitting.
Right.
So that's what I do. So I wrote this story draft twice, and then I showed it to my nieces as well. I said, "What do
Okay.
you think?" I didn't show them the entire thing because, well, I did not want them, it would be a spoiler for them. Then they'll go and tell everyone,
True.
and then it
True.
would be a
True.
spoiler for me. So I was like, no, don't say anything. Just
Okay.
show them the basics.
Okay.
So I showed them that, showed it to my family.
Uh-huh.
They liked it. And then I just went ahead and I started doing the layouts. So, today it's a lot easier to do publishing. Everything is online. There is a lot of opportunity to do it yourself. And though I had not, sat with my previous designers and used the actual software, but I was able to understand how they would do basic layouts because I used to spend a lot of time with them, and I used to enjoy sitting and working with them that way.
Right.
So I used that experience to help design my books and do the illustrations and see which one would, suit what at what stage. So that's how it went.
So I want to know, I want to go like a one step back, okay, and talk a little bit about character development. So the main character of the book is Gul.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you develop Gul? Where did she come from? Is she a fragment of your imagination? Is she a little bit of you, a little bit of your nieces, and maybe a little bit of any other girl that you have met? Where did she come from?
Well, Gul is a fragment of my imagination, but she's also a lot. I mean, I think about 80% me. So the thing is that when I developed Gul in my mind, it came across, you see, when I was thinking of story ideas, I kept thinking of what I should write and who should be the character. And every time, I would think of something, it would not seem as appealing to me. And then for some time, I got stuck because I said, look, if I want to do this, it should be something which is very lovable and very relatable for me as well. And how do I do that? Then finally, I got an idea that, look, why don't you just convert your childhood experiences into a story? And that's what I would tell my nieces as well whenever we'd have our story sessions and stuff. So I would convert that. And then I said, okay, I will create a character. It will be a girl. She's a gypsy because she keeps moving from place to place. And there is she has her own unique identity. And if you see the illustrations in the book, she's very differently dressed. She's not wearing a t-shirt and a pair of jeans. It's just what I would have imagined a gypsy girl would have looked like. So it's my interpretation of that. But her experiences, so the story is set in Nigeria. And Nigeria, of course, as I said, it's where I've grown up. What happens in that story is based on a childhood experience. And of course, I can't tell more. People would have to read the book.
Yes, people will have to. People, please read this book. I mean, if you have kids, read this book to them. I mean, I haven't read it myself yet, but the book has rave reviews. I mean, people are loving it. If you have kids, read it to them. And if you are a kid yourself, read it yourself. And even if you're an adult, there's no harm in reading it because, I mean, हम सबके अंदर वो छोटा वाला बच्चा तो है ही ना, छोटी सी गुल तो सबके अंदर है.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
One thing, प्रियंका मैम, जो हमारे पेपर वेब पर हमारे साथ बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो लिखते हैं, मैं चाहती हूँ कैरेक्टर डेवलपमेंट से रिलेटेड कुछ एक दो छोटी छोटी टिप्स आप उनके साथ जरूर शेयर करें.
Well, जो टिप्स मेरे पास हैं, I think what I would say is choose characters that you relate to. Or that, किसी को जानते हो who have certain quirks. Like,
Right.
supposing, there is that one Uncle G who stays down the lane, who has a particular time of walking, going for his walks,
Right.
or, he has certain habits, or there is that weird friend of yours who has a weird collection, or, something which anyone will relate to.
Right.
The
True.
problem
True.
I, which I see in a lot of programs as well
Right.
that come out today,
Yeah.
while they try and make a lot of things realistic, a lot of times it seems like you're trying extra hard, and then you kind of lose sight of the reality of that thing that you're trying to
Right.
project.
Right. Right. True. I mean, trying too hard to be realistic can actually
Yes.
drive you away from reality.
Yes, exactly. So sometimes I feel if you want to be true to yourself when you're
Right.
writing, choose something which you relate to. It doesn't have to be something super extraordinary. It doesn't have to be
Absolutely.
something which is very, with very flowery language, with very
Uh-huh.
complicated, habits in the person.
Right.
It just has to be one or two things which you just play up,
One.
and that
Okay.
goes a long way.
Wow.
That's what I
So
feel.
simple. Keep it simple. Yeah.
Yes,
Keep it realistic. Maybe a
yes,
person who you have seen, observed around you. Right. Wow.
absolutely.
Okay. Now let's talk about a little bit about this title, "The Case
So,
of Missing Pickles." Like, how cute is that? Like missing pickles. How cute is that? How did you come up with that? Or one more
so
question I have
sure.
is that, did you write the book first and thought of the title later, or did you thought of the title first and then wrote the book?
I think it all came, sorry, at the same time. So I did write when I got the idea for the story,
Right.
I decided to focus it all on the case of the missing pickles because it involves a bottle of missing pickles. And,
Okay.
who takes that bottle is a mystery. And that's what Gul and her friend Piku try to find out in the
Okay.
story.
Okay.
So, like I said, this is a experience.
Wow.
My mother used to make pickles, and when we'd go on holidays in Nigeria, we would carry a lot of food from home,
Okay.
and pickles was something she would carry with her. And yes, with us also, the bottles of pickles have gone missing.
Oh wow.
I can't tell you what happens after that, but
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll read the book for that.
yes, you'll have to read the book for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to everyone who's listening to me, watching me, is going to listen to me later, she she has done all the drawing, all the
Yeah.
illustration of the book by herself. That is amazing. The parrot on the cover, it's so cute. It's so
Oh.
cute. Like, I mean, if I was a child and I had
Right.
to go, if I would have gone to a place, a bookshop, I would have picked this book because it's so vibrant. How did you decide? Was there a theme that you were following when you were illustrating for the book? Or it was just related, you picked up a scene from the story and illustrated it?
So when I created the story, I used certain references from that place where the story is set.
Oh
So a
wow.
lot of where the story is set, like I said, it's in Nigeria. That place was in what you'd call a savanna. So a good part of Nigeria is, the general impression is when you say you've grown up in Africa, everyone thinks jungles. But
Yes.
it's not all like that. I
No?
mean, that's a judgment people tend to have.
Even
But,
I think that.
oh,
You
okay.
go Africa and I'm like, okay, beautiful jungles.
Yeah,
What?
no. So this place was a savanna because it's not very thick forests. And this particular place was a wildlife park where the
Oh,
story has been set.
okay.
So
Okay.
whatever I remember of that place, and of course now with the internet, you can see everything
Mhm.
online, whatever pictures you
Right.
want to see. So I used those pictures as references because I wanted to make it as realistic and as I don't know, grateful to that place because for giving me those memories. Because
Fine.
a lot of times, when you try and create something, we go a little overboard and create something totally different, and then whoever's been to that place will say, that's not the place, you got it all wrong,
Right.
that's not
Right.
right. So
Absolutely.
I don't want to do that. I want to do whatever I remember and as close to that, but in a very cute and childlike format.
Yes, that vibrancy of colors and that those strokes, they are very childlike and very attractive childlike.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Illustration हो गए. Now let's come to the next hurdle. That was okay. Book लिख गई, illustrations हो गए, घर वालों को दिखा दिया, सब लोगों ने बोल दिया, okay, good, go ahead. Publishing. How did you make it possible? Was it difficult? Can you give any tips for the people who are listening to us and would want to publish one day?
I think publishing today has become a lot easier. There is, when I had initially thought of publishing a book, when I was back in, almost finishing my studies, that time it used to feel like a very daunting task.
Yeah.
Because that meant you have to prepare a manuscript, send it to the publishers, and pray one day they will actually like it. Today, things are a lot easier. So I have never really met my publishers. I have only interacted with them online and on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And any problems I have, all I have to do is pick up the phone and tell them, look, you know what, I'm stuck with this. Can you help me out? They're okay, we'll get so-and-so to get in touch with you, or otherwise this is what you do. I'm like, this is perfect. It's really easy. And everything just gets done. You put your layout. Of course, doing the layout by yourself is sometimes tricky because you're used to doing what you have in your mind, and what is in front of you is not always the same. True. So you kind of have to battle that for some time and come as close to what you imagine it to be, and then move ahead from that. So, but overall, it is a lot easier. And once I'm ready with the thing, I download the final format. I go through it properly. I get 2-3 people to see it. And then, with just a click of a button, you send it for publishing. Okay. And those publishers review it. And if they find it, there's everything is in place, then they go ahead. True. It has the internet has made this whole process very easy, and thank God for that. Thank God for that, because there are so many amazing people who are writing books like yourself. There are other people that I've met through paperwiff, amazing people. I would have probably never gotten to know about them because we don't go to bookshops anymore. Frankly speaking, I don't go to bookshops anymore, right? I have a Kindle and I have phones and I have a tab and I have a laptop, like everything on the internet. Exactly. So cool that what internet has done. But still, I want to know one thing. If I wanted to, let's say, publish my book, and where do I start? How do I start? What steps do I take? The first step is to be clear in your mind that what you want to write about. Okay. Of course, that once that is done, I mean, that's the biggest hurdle, because to put your entire, whatever you want to put is on paper, it's done. Once that is done, today there are so many platforms. There are, I believe Amazon has one. I believe there are a lot of other platforms. So everybody today is looking for fresh content, and they're looking to encourage people to write. And I think that's a wonderful thing, because they are making it a lot easier. So gone are those days when you have to send your manuscript to somebody and then wait. And then one fine day, if somebody decides to wake up and they like your thing, then maybe you will get published. Or maybe your manuscript will just be sent into the garbage bin. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So things have changed a lot. And today, I mean, all people have to do is just, go on Google, find out, whatever good publishing platforms online. You'll find so many things. And it's all so easy. You don't have to leave your house. That's the best part. I think घर बैठे बैठे आप सब कर सकते हो, which is really good. It is really cool. Really cool. I mean, back in the day when we were kids, there was nothing like that. Nothing. Absolutely. You had to go out. Exactly. So now let's go ahead and move one step ahead.
So what's
Okay.
next?
Well, the second book in the series is hopefully soon. The illustrations are almost over. I think there's just one or two left. But I hope to get that out within another couple of weeks.
Oh wow.
Hopefully by mid-March, I'm hoping. That should be out
Cool.
soon. Apart from that, I'm also trying to now write a collection of short stories for adults. Because with children, once you get into this whole thing of writing, the ideas really start flowing, and sometimes it's the ideas come at all the wrong times. When you're at work, suddenly you get an idea, and you have no access to your laptop, or
Then what do
yeah, you can't do it then, right? So whenever I get the ideas, I keep penning them down. And
Okay.
yeah, I'm hoping maybe sometime, of course, later on in this year, the short collection of stories should come out. I'm hoping.
Okay. So Ghouls Adventures is going to be all the series where like continuously
Yes,
you will be producing a lot of books, right?
yes,
Like
that's
when where Gul probably will be doing a lot of different things in different places, right?
yes, yes.
And the book for adults, this short story
Right,
collection. I want to know
right.
what is going to be the theme. I know, but I want others to know as well.
Uh, so that is going to be suspense or, thriller, something along those lines. So
I must back up for it. I must back up for
okay,
it.
that's good. That's good. Well, then I hope you like it when
Oh,
it comes out.
you won't believe, like, I'm one of those people who watch Crime Patrol on like repeat.
Okay, all right.
I have like
Well, I
embarrassed
like watching
myself
a lot of
publicly
series.
on it. True. I mean, I love the suspense, thriller, horror. Absolutely love it. The moment it comes out, I'm getting it and I'm reading it.
Oh, great. I'm so glad.
And I wish that when you launch that one, I will be here to take your interview. Then I'll be asking you all
Oh,
the
wow.
questions about the
Thank you.
theories and the tricks and tips and how did you write it. I love it. And I wish you all the best. Ritika has
Thank you.
said best wishes
Right.
from entire team of Paperwiff for your upcoming book. Yes,
Oh, thank you so
absolutely.
much. Thank you.
Now, AJ Moyotails is saying, me too. He or she is also waiting. So we are all waiting for that adult short story collection
Oh,
book. You
wow.
have to make it
Oh,
quick.
yes. The work is on.
Wow. Oh, now I guess like अब हम चलेंगे अपने इस interview के उस segment में, which is this entire thing has been fun, but here I'm gonna go ahead and throw some questions, some curveballs, hopefully, to you,
Okay.
and in this
Uh-oh.
rapid fire round, okay?
Okay. All right.
And let's see how. I mean, and you can't think. You have to answer like
Oh,
immediately. Okay, that's one.
okay. I'll try my
Second,
best.
yes. And all the questions that I will be asking you, I will throw one of those questions towards the audience as well. आपका
Okay.
जवाब सुन के अगर उन्होंने सही बताया कि आपने क्या जवाब दिया था, then they will get some rewards as well.
Oh, wow.
You're ready for
Well,
it?
I hope my friend is logged out now.
Tushna ma'am, are you gone? If you're here, please say yes, I'm here.
Oh, gosh.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So my first question to you is, how many countries have you actually been to till date?
I can't count them, but I can tell you that the only continent I have not touched is South America.
Okay.
So I've
All right. Cool.
touched every other continent.
Cool. So which is your favorite country or city internationally to visit?
Internationally, I would say London.
London.
London is home away from home, so
I was
I love
hoping you would
it.
say that. I'm a Potterhead. I mean, I don't. Are you a Potterhead too?
Yes, I am very much. I don't know how many times I've read those books. I lost count.
I have watched like the movies like 15 times. My husband is fed up. He's like, every time you have this Harry Potter thing on, now you're gonna watch the all seven, eight, nine movies. And I love it so much. And I read it. I read the book thrice, not many times, but thrice. Oh, Tushna ma'am is here.
Oh,
Tushna ma'am is here. Okay, Tushna ma'am,
oh,
it is on.
oh,
All right. So, London is your favorite city. Let's talk about what was your favorite thing to do when you were in London?
Ah, favorite thing to do in London was, I think, just roam around and enjoy the city. The weather
Oh,
was always great. I like being outdoors in the open. So
okay.
I used to really enjoy that. I'd go for walks on my own. I'd grab my lunch by myself, which a lot of people used to find strange because they're like, don't you need company? I said, no, I'm okay. I can figure this out on my
I
own.
can figure this out myself. Like at least a lunch I can
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
All
I
right.
really get
True.
it.
True. Ritika is saying true Potterheads here. Ritika is also a Potterhead. Yeah, high
Oh,
five to all the
awesome.
Potterheads. Now, next question. So, which is your favorite city in India?
That is a bit of a tricky question. I would say Delhi because I have grown up. I mean, I had my high school there. I have good memories. My parents are also from Delhi, so it is a city very close to me.
Now,
A lot of old
I'm
memories.
sure that all the Mumbaikars are like, why did she not
Yeah,
say Mumbai?
that's a tricky one.
But see, Divya and Tushna ma'am, look, she is a Dilli di kudi. All right, next question. Which
Yeah.
city in India has inspired you the most?
I think all of them have. So, in India, I have stayed in three cities, Delhi, Bombay, and Hyderabad. And
Uh-huh.
I have had very different experiences in all the cities. And like I've said earlier, there's some, of course, every place has some negatives in it. It's not
Right,
that they're all beautiful. But
right.
the good things that I have observed and I have experienced in each city is what inspired me. And of
Okay.
course, I mean, I've also had the opportunity to see a lot of places. Rajasthan, I've seen about 7 times.
Oh,
So
wow.
I love the color. I love
Oh,
the rusticness of that
oh
place.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
it's very nice. I love it.
It is very like aesthetically very soul pleasing, not just eye pleasing, it's
Yes,
very soul pleasing.
yes,
It's amazing. Okay,
absolutely.
Divya is saying, oh, she won't get the vada pav now. I'll bring vada pav. I get vada pav in my city as well. Don't worry. And AJ Moyo Tales is saying she will enjoy chole bhature. Yeah, chole kulche. Why
Oh,
not?
bilkul. You never go wrong with that.
Now this our comment section has become a full-on debate on Delhi versus Mumbai.
Oh dear. Oh dear. No, there are some good things about
Yes,
Bombay. Don't.
absolutely, absolutely. No, we are not against Mumbai, but we just
Yeah.
love Delhi a little more.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, next question. So
Correct.
from Harry Potter books, which are the books or which is the book that you have read several times?
There are many actually. So I have a habit that of reading books quite a few times. So there have been books like there is a book called The Purple Hibiscus. It's by a Nigerian author, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So she has written this book, which is I have really liked. It's on a serious theme. It's not
Mhm.
a fun-loving type of book, but
Right.
I must have read that book I think 10 times that I remember.
Wow.
Godfather is another one which I've read, I think more than 10 times.
Oh, wow.
Um, there are a lot of books. I mean, I'm just naming some of the ones that are coming off my head. But like I said, I read a lot of book. Once I read a book, I have a habit of going back to the same part that, certain pages,
Mhm.
and I read books very often. So
Right,
I remember the story.
right.
And if I see the movie adaptation of that, that's when I say, that person didn't say that. It was so and so who said that. That's wrong.
So you memorized the book.
Pretty much. Yes.
That's so cool. All right. One last question, and I'm about to start probably another debate. So, are you a chai person or you a coffee person?
I am a chai person. I love masala chai.
Oh, yay! Okay, people who are watching us, tell us in the comment section below who of you loves chai and which of you loves coffee. We are not against one, we're just in favor of another, okay? Don't worry.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Now, let me ask a question to our Janta Janardan here. Are you guys ready for the questions? हमारा आज का सवाल आपसे ये है that प्रियंका जी ने एक कॉन्टिनेंट का नाम लिया है जिस पर वो नहीं गए हैं. क्या नाम है उस कॉन्टिनेंट का? Which continent has Priyanka ma'am not been to? Come on, give me the answer quickly, everybody. So now we have chai and coffee debate going on. AJ Moyo Tails is saying, "Oh, coffee and chai." Shihab is saying chai anytime. Divya is saying we are chai walas. Ruch is saying Ruch 24M is saying love black chai and black coffee equally. Okay, we have got the answer, but we'll have to check. So Shihab said South America. Is it correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
All right, Shia. Then congratulations.
Good job.
You won. South America it is. Well, that marks the end of this amazing talk. But before we go, Priyanka ma'am, do you have any messages for our listeners, our audience, people who are listening and people who will listen to us later on?
I think the only message that I can give people is that, you know, just try things out. You know, there is no age limit on trying something. There is no you should not have any barriers in your mind. I know sometimes it's very difficult to, you know, come to start doing something that you have always wanted to do
Right.
for various reasons. You know, you're a little scared or whatever. But I think just give it a try. You can never go wrong with the effort. What happens after that is not in your control, and you shouldn't even stress over that. But at least take that first step is what I feel people should do.
True. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you. It's enlightening
Same here.
meeting people like you. And, having that, what I felt today, it's okay. The way I think about life and the philosophies that I have, or sometimes the twists and turns and the experiments that I do with life, a lot of people tell me that, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Today, meeting you has given me that strength that, no, I'm not alone. I'm not alone who thinks that it's okay to take a risk. It's okay to step
Yes.
back. It's okay to
Yes.
change your route. It's okay to take a turn. We
Yes.
are not going to get out of it alive. You might as well
Yes.
live it. Well,
Absolutely.
on that note, Priyanka ma'am, thank you so much. It has been lovely,
Thank you.
lovely interacting with you.
Same.
And I hope I'll see you
Pleasure's
very,
all
very
mine.
soon.
Definitely.
And when I'm coming to Mumbai, I'm definitely dropping by.
Oh, definitely. Please do. We'll have chai together.
Yeah, chai. Yes, chai people. And we'll talk about Harry Potter a lot.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for
Thank
giving
you.
us this beautiful evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much everybody who has been here. We आपने हमारा साथ दिया उसके लिए thank you so much. इस लाइव सेशन को इसको सेव कर दिया जाएगा. प्लीज इसे बाद में शेयर करना मत भूलिएगा अपने फैमिली, फ्रेंड्स, अपने रिलेटिव्स के साथ, because there's a lot to unpack about Priyanka ma'am, and through what she has shared with us, we can all learn from it, and that's what Paperwiff wants to do. Lift by words. All right then. तो अगली बार मिलते हैं. स्वस्थ रहिएगा, व्यस्त रहिएगा, मस्त रहिएगा. Bye bye.
Bye. See you.
See you.